Okay, so I'll move on to the second one. How do you prepare to do your character voices in the booth?
Depends on the character. For me, it's always about finding one thing that you can ground yourself to. Finding one thing that a codex that unlocks that character for you. Like Joel in The Last of Us. There was a line in the audition sides, you know, which gives you like a character description. And some people are really good about giving a lot of information. There's like hair color, height, eye color, dialect. I mean, all these things. A paragraph about the person. And there was just a picture of Joel, early artist, you know, concept art of him. And there was a line in the description that said he has few moral lines left to cross. And that's what I need. That's all I needed. I don't even think there was anything about him having a southern accent, nothing about it being gruff voice, nothing. It was just, I looked at that guy, few moral lines left to cross. And that became my anchor point that I could move around the character and make decisions off of. So sometimes, you know, I know people have like this, I like to sing before I go in and I clear my throat 23 times and it's, you know, I have these teas, and for some people that works. For me, if it's a good character and it's a well-written script, Mickey Rourke was the one who says that dialogue is the last thing that I learned. Because if it's a good character, it's a good script, it should just come out naturally. It should be a good conversation that I'm having. So what I try to do, more than anything, is just understand the character, know who the guy is, and then you can, you know, you can just perform. It's less of an acting, and it's just kind of like just being that guy. And then sometimes you get to have fun roles, like in Disgaea, you know, whatever. There's not much preparation you can do. You just got to jump in and make jokes about sardines and stuff.
Sardines.
So do you have any advice for people who would want to be or are on the way to becoming voice actors?
I would say that especially now, you've got to focus on the acting part. There's some really interesting voices that we have that are not the norm. And what we love about them are the performances rather than, you know, just what their voice sounds like. You know what I mean? Like you'll have your Peter Cullens, who just, that voice is just what melts you as Optimus Prime. But then you have people like Charlie Day, you know, who've got this, what you would not think is a naturally enjoyable voice, but his performances are so great, you know. So you've got a wide spectrum of characters, and a lot of people are really good about emulating another actor that's already been out there. Be unique, find your own voice. But also because of the way that technology is going, you have more opportunities for performance capture, full motion capture, face, body, voice, everything at the same time. And so if all you're doing is working on this one aspect of your craft, you're shortchanging everything else. And I really feel that that's what, especially with games, that's where everything's going to go. Being able to channel just all that energy and those choices and that performance into your voice is absolutely key. But also just make sure you're focusing on being an actor. Get involved in theater, get involved with stage. Never stop learning. Yeah.
So that opens up another question. While you're in the booth,
Sure.
Are you animated at all?
Depends on the game, or it depends on the project. You know, when we do the Avengers, Avengers Assemble for Disney's Marvel's Avengers Assemble. That's what we have to say the full name. You know, it's like a radio play. I don't know if you were here for this thing that Chris Smith did. We did last night, where he took, you know, an old script, you know, kind of an old-fashioned radio play kind of format. All the actors are there. We're reading off of each other. We take it like a scene at a time, or maybe a 3-page run or whatever.
Oh, that's like how we went to Connecticut recently,
Mm-hmm.
and John St. John read 50 Shades of Grey. And that was the whole panel. 50 Shades of Grey and Cards Against Humanity.
Well, Cards Against Humanity would be fantastic. I think I would have murdered myself if I had listened to it.
You would.
Yeah, it was funny. It was hilarious.
But the opportunities that are presented there is, the format that we have rather, is everyone's in the booth. By booth, I mean it's got to be a large room to accommodate 8 to 10 people, depending on how many people you have in your cast. We do this for the regular show and you know, several other shows like original animation shows. We'll be in there together reading off of each other, and then the animators, they have everything boarded out, and then the animators, we start recording?
No,
Okay.
turned off.
then the animators take that and they animate based on our performances, and then we come back and we do tweaks, we do ADR for those. For video games, sometimes you're just in the booth by yourself, sometimes you're in the booth with another person, or again, what most games are going to right now is the full performance capture, which is my preferred way, because there's no acting. I mean, when you're running, you sound like you're running, and that's the way we did Last of Us, and The Last of Us was every situation you see them in, we were in, you know.
So full bodysuit and everything, running. And wow.
The only thing they didn't do that a lot of games are doing, and in some ways I prefer the way The Last of Us did it, is a lot of people do facial on, actually capture facial data on the day when they're actually recording or shooting. Some people do dots, you know, some people do dots and markers with actually little BBs on your face, which are fun. Some people do the dots, and then they'll have like a 4-camera, mini cameras right here, and they're tracking all of your movement for your face, so they get all of these things, and the animators take that data and then go in and hand key some stuff, and that's actually when, like for Infamous Second Son, that's my face. It's Travis Willingham's face. It's Laura Bailey's face. So all those little subtlety and nuances, they actually are able to translate that one-to-one. But with The Last of Us, there was one guy that was in charge of, they would get video reference of our performances, and then there was one guy that would go in and literally hand key that eyebrow raise, that smirk of the eye. He would watch the video and go over here and make Joel's face do everything that I did, and Ellie's face, everything that Ashley did. And it was incredible. It's a lot more work on the back end, but it makes it easier on the front end for us to, because we're not worried about any kind of technical hang-ups that we might have with that process.
That's good. That's actually interesting. So that's good. They're going the Mortal Kombat route, but better. So, do you have any hobbies, such as reading comics or manga?
I'm a huge comic fan. And what really got me back into comics was my iPad, actually. I've got tons of, back trades that I just came across a Batman arc. I was like, holy crap, I had this exact trade, and I wish I had it still, but it was like when he first finds Tim Drake. You know, so it's after Jason Todd and that whole, you know, Death in the Family arc. It's really, really cool. So I love it. My iPad has built this resurgence for comic book love. So I love playing poker. I'm a huge poker fan. I'm a musician. We're finishing our album right now, which hopefully will be out like next month, I think is what we're looking at. It's called Sitting in the Fire, and it's just it's a labor of love. So we're really excited about it. That's kind of exceeded even our expectations. So yeah, I have a tendency to dabble in a few things.
Yeah, comics are awesome. I've actually gotten back into it too through my phone,
Through
not
your
my
phone?
iPad. Yeah,
Fantastic.
I'm going to New York Comic Con, so they
Cool.
said with your ticket you get 50 free digital copies.
Shut up.
Yeah, but they're like first editions or like previews. You still have to buy the full comic.
Gotcha.
So I started just downloading, and I downloaded the whole Batman anthology, like a preview. They explain
Wow.
certain things, and they pretty much have the whole Batman tree of who's a villain, who's not a villain, who's in between.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm flipping through it, I'm like, I never knew this about my favorite character.
Yeah, dude.
Really? What?
That's what I love about the Batman mythos, is that it's so solid, it's so secure in its own canon that they're like Jeff Johns just did Earth Zero, where it literally juxtaposes everything you've known about. Like Alfred is a badass, and the way that or the circumstances revolving around Bruce Wayne's death, or Bruce Wayne's parents' death, and just it's really, really cool. If you like Batman, yeah, you should check it out.
There is one where Bruce Wayne does die.
Well, yeah.
That's a good
Batman.
series. Yeah. Okay, so have you ever cosplayed yourself?
Every day.
Every day. Well, yeah, every day with your voice. That's cool. And how do you feel when people who cosplay the characters you have voiced? How do you feel like when you see them?
It's so cool, and I especially love the people that go all out. You know, when it becomes their interpretation of that character and their affinity for that character represented in the way that they dress, down to all the little, especially the little details, I think really pays a lot of respect to the animators and the concept artists and the people that have worked really, really hard to develop those characters. Imitation is the highest form of flattery. So if I can be a part of something, it's a huge honor that someone would take that and go, I want to become that character, because that means that I was a part of doing something right, because that made people feel like they have agency or would aspire to be that character. So I love singing.
Good. And how did you get into voice acting?
I tripped backwards. I'm super lucky. I'm a musician. We're doing our album at the studio, and literally the guy who had been doing their car spots for the last 15 years had a heart attack and died. And so I just happened to be in the right place at the right time and started doing car spots. I met Chris Sabat, played Vegeta and DBZ and just a slew of other stuff. And he was my gateway drug into anime. And got me my first gig on that. And then really my first role was Brothers in Arms for Gearbox, because a friend of mine who we played with musician-wise was the audio lead for Gearbox, and they were looking, I guess we need like actors, you know how to talk good, huh? So he brought me in, and Matt Baker was like my first lead role. So it's just been really kind of chasing after, making sure you don't screw up, or not being afraid to screw up, I guess, really, and kind of stumbling after success. So.
Good. And I don't know if I can ask the one, but do you regret any project that you've turned down?
Ooh, that you've turned down. Regret is such a powerful word, because I like where I'm at, for right or for wrong. Both accomplishments and failures,
So do you have any success. Like, oh man, I wish I could have done that one?
There's always a part where you're like I auditioned for Infamous 2, and I really, really wanted it. And didn't get it. And Eric Layden, who played Cole McGrath in Infamous 2 and Festival of Blood, did this fantastic job. And I think that I would have screwed it up if I had been that guy, And even now, I wouldn't have gotten, Second Son. I think Second Son is just a really, really cool project. And I'm excited about the character. I would much rather have been Delson than Cole. So I try not to look at it too much with regret, because a friend of mine told me this old Chinese parable about the Chinese farmer who discovers a stallion in his yard. And it's the whole thing about there is no good, there is no bad, there just is. So if we think that we're arrogant enough to understand what is the best for us, then that's where we fail. We should just be open to, even if it feels like it's something bad happening to you, like regret, or a bad decision or whatever, there is no good, there is no bad, there just is. Because there could be something around the corner that's even better. So there's certainly stuff that I would have loved to have been a part of, but not at the expense of what I'm doing now.
Okay, and I think that's 10 minutes. We're probably over.
We're way over.
That's
yeah,
fine.
13.
About 14.
Okay,
wow,
Mr. Technical.
Well, he's looking at a clock. Are there any questions that you like? I really, really wanted to get this one in.
You want to talk more about your band?
Yeah, your band. That sounds interesting. I didn't know you were a musician.
We, 10 years ago I was in a band, and we had a little bit of success, and it just ran its course. It was just time to, move on. But there's all these songs that we had, that just sat, and the album that we're doing now is kind of inspired by those songs, or completely re-envisioning some of those songs, and songs that I've written since then. And it's almost more my own personal catharsis. I need to get this album out, and hopefully I'll do another album, but I don't know. But I know that I have to do this one. And I partnered with this amazing producer named Johnny Watt. And he is the kind of guy that took all my ideas and just threw them right out the window. I said, this is what the song is. This is I've got the string section here and the piano's here. And he goes, I don't want to hear it. I want to hear an acoustic guitar and your scratch vocal, and that's it. And then I'll show you where the song is supposed to go. He's like a song whisperer. He listens to the song, and he took some songs in a completely completely different direction and a way better direction. And so the kind of process that we have now, it's really me, Johnny, who's our producer, and Rob King, who is our engineer and co-producer, the three of us are really kind of painting this soundscape and creating this sonic space that these songs are living in. And we've had amazing success with bringing in, like the horn section from the Mars Volta is on the record. James Newton Howard's guitarist is playing some stuff. There's other people that are just like, I can't believe we're recording a Black Gospel Choir next week, you know. It's going to be insane. Actually, U2 did a documentary called Rattle and Hum in the 80s, and which I absolutely love. I'm a huge U2 fan, and there's one song that you'll really hear a heavily U2 influence. But for Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, there was it was the Harlem Black Gospel Choir. Did like their own version of that song, and then U2 found out about it, and they're like, we want to come play this with you. And so there's this beautiful, beautiful scene where they're in Harlem in this church, and this Black Gospel Choir is just killing it and singing.
Them. I really do. My friend is actually sang with them. Our church
really
sang with them. Yes, we
the
went all the way
Boys
to
Harlem Choir.
The boys call the boys.
No, it's a different one. It's I know what he's talking about. I forgot the name of the church that they sing at, but they just.
Every one of them, man, is just it's dirty. It's soul.
It's like you feel them just going.
Yep.
Right there. That's for you, Jesus.
Yep.
Right there. Right there.
But it's crazy because I emailed them. I was like, I want you guys to be a part of this, and they actually said yes. You know, and it would involve us going to New York, which we can't do. But this has really been a project about. I can't believe we can get. I can't believe we're doing. I can't believe we did. A truly unbelievable record in that sense. And we tracked up in Big Bear, California, up in the mountains. We found this cabin. It's like 5,000 square foot house. Lugged all our gear up there, and we just tracked the record in 5 days. So now we're doing all the little polish and tweaks and everything that we couldn't do there. But yeah, it's been a really, really cool process. And again, we've got just a few more things to do. Then we're into mixing, and it should be out by October.
What's the genre?
It's a rock record, but it goes everywhere from like, you know, you'll hear dashings of Muse, sprinklings of Daft Punk in places because that's what we were listening. That new Daft Punk record had just come out when we did this.
Random
So
Access Memories.
yeah, it's incredible. That album is just. That's on the record. That's gonna be on the record.
Timing.
We're gonna get sued.
Yeah.
And then there's stuff like you would hear like Bruce Springsteen play, you know. So it's the album is a journey. It's a sonic journey.
So perhaps in the future, instead of back on, we'll have your band pop in here.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah.
And do you guys have any questions? Because the rest of the ones I had were like favorite stuff that I can't do.
It's just too hard. It's just.
You already asked future projects?
Can I ask that one?
Yeah, of course. Arkham Origins is coming out October
He's the
25th. Get to play the Joker, which is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in stores in the U.S. October 25th.
Yep, pre-ordered already.
Damn straight, girl. And then Infamous Second Son is going to be out in February.
For PS4.
Saints Row 4 just came out, so if you haven't played that, please do.
Yeah,
It's
he
so
was
much
upset
fun.
he couldn't bring his disc.
It's so
I could have been. I wanted to bring my copy of Saints Row the Third for Laura Bailey to sign, and I was disappointed. I was like,
it's so
because
good.
I let my friend borrow it, but he was sick before I left, so I couldn't go pick it up.
Go get it?
I couldn't go get it.
No worries.
I was like,
Our paths will cross again. And then Disney Marvel's Avengers Assemble is on Disney XD. Please watch. It's fun. I get to play Hawkeye with Travis Willingham playing Thor, Laura Bailey playing Black Widow, Quadra Craig Smith.
That's interesting, and I discovered it recently because I was going, okay, I know he does this, and I know he's doing the Joker, which I was excited about. Like, yeah, Night Road, Joker.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I'm looking through all your credits. I'm like, I didn't know he did that. I didn't know. Wait, he's doing video games? What? Wait, besides Joker? I thought that was his first video game.
Oh,
Wait,
wow.
what? No,
No.
wait, anime, what? I didn't know a lot of you guys cross over like that, and that's
yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Very
And
interesting.
they're all different processes, so it really helps you hone your chops. I think if you stick to doing just one thing, you're limiting yourself. I want to be that's well-rounded, and you only get well-rounded when you get those edges shaved off, you know, and you have to do those by getting outside your comfort zone and allowing yourself to bump into things and not know how to do it and stumble and fall.
We'll just learn somehow.
So another question I would have, you just love coming to conventions, right?
I really do. I'm a nerd. I'm a big nerd, so I like nerding out with my nerds. And especially when you get to, it's a good excuse to travel. Traveling is my favorite thing to do. And I think it's really sad that a lot of people haven't even left their home state or their home city. It's like, come on, you know, you have to see New York. You have to see New York. You have to see. You know what I mean? You know, if you're from Florida, you know, you need to go to Bend, Oregon, and you need to see the mountains.
Yeah, I want to go to Portland. They dragged me. They actually dragged me down here. I wasn't supposed to be here. I was like, I want to do the interview, but I can't go. I have school. But they dragged me.
Well,
we did.
Straight out of Brooklyn, down.
Straight out of Brooklyn.
Oh, you're a Brooklyn girl.
Yes.
All of us are Brooklyn people. We literally dragged her like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to pay for your hotel. I don't care.
You need to see, like last night, and we had this amazing experience of staying at the Lincoln Memorial, you know, and you need to do that. You need to see the Washington Monument.
I did that years ago. I have family out here, so I kind of know the area well. Lincoln Memorial. When I was 11, I went to the Pentagon, and obviously I couldn't go inside. And I was like, this place is massive.
Yeah, dude.
I've been inside. You're not missing much. My parents are military.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we had to go there for something. My mom was getting a job promotion, and they were doing a ceremony in the Pentagon. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm seeing all these big generals and stuff. I'm just like, this is really scary. It's scary in there.
We were at the W last night having a drink at the rooftop, and we're looking down at the White House. And I'm like,
we should have joined them and played Cards Against Humanity.
oh, yeah, it's so good. But I was like, can you imagine what that place is like right now?
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
The Syrian stuff and
Yeah, dude. I
going
mean,
on?
we're looking down, and there's like a light. It was really cool. You know, Travis and I are just going crazy. There's like a light on, you know, and that someone turned off after a time. But it's like, who's in there right now, and what decisions are they making? I find that absolutely fascinating.
One lone light?
There's this one lone light on the east side.
It's probably a stairwell.
Yeah, it's probably just a stairway or a bathroom. Some guy's in there with a fart fan on going, bloop. You know, who knows? But it's a fascinating thing that you go to places like D.C., New York, Boston, and even in Chicago and stuff. You really, on the east side, on the east coast, is when you really get to feel these were Europeans that settled this place. As you get further out west, then you get to see a lot more of the indigenous people that were completely eradicated, and their footprint that they left. You know, but it's just, I love going to Boston, especially in Copp's Hill, which is this really cool cemetery that's there, and you see markers that go back to 1600s, gravestone markers. See where Mother Goose is buried. You know. And you see, it's really cool, you'll see these weird white streaks on some of the headstones. And I asked the guy who was taking us around, I was like, what is that? What's these weird streaks? He goes, oh, that's bullet marks from the...
Ricochets?
Mm-hmm. He said the British troops would actually use these headstone markers as target practice. And you're like, what? How am I witnessing this? And I think you need to understand where you're going, you need to understand where you've been. And that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of Europeans are just a little bit step ahead of Americans, is because we really don't have that much history, and the little history that we have, we don't even understand it. And it's so moment to moment, and when you're steeped in tradition and history like you are in Europe especially, or Japan, there's this respect for your culture and for your history, and even the mistakes that you've made that you can't repeat again. That I think Americans just generally lack. And it's kind of a sad thing. But that's a Christmas tree, literally right out there. It's a Fraser fir or a Doug fir. Right out there. You see that?
I didn't notice that, yeah.
Look at that.
That might be Rockefeller.
Oh, they're coming. They're coming to chop it down, bring it down onto us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're already looking.
So,
We're
good?
One last question. Future events and conventions for you?
New York Comic Con.
Yes.
We're going to be there talking about Arkham Origins with Roger Craig Smith. Another anime convention in Boston, New Hampshire. It's in Manchester. And then we go to London MCM Expo for the weekend.
I want to go to there.
It's so much fun. Brian Coney runs the show, and he's just a good dude. It's a great show, and they're growing. yeah, the next month is pretty jam packed.
Mm.
Very nice.
Yeah, dude. Thank you guys, man. Glad I got to hang with you.
Thank you.
Of course.
You made my first interview go nicely.
Oh,
Yeah.
was your first?
This is my first interview.
Very well. Very well.
Yeah.
Do we have